Hey, thanks for tuning in. Real quickly, before we get started, I'd like to thank my friends at Tattoo SEO for making today's episode possible. Tattoo SEO specializes in search engine optimization for tattooers and tattoo shops, so they help you to come up higher in organic online search results for people looking to get tattooed in your area. That's kind of a generic explanation. What they can really do is to help put the clients who are looking for your type of work in front of you. So whether you are a street shop trying to just bring generic business through the door, or a single person private studio focused on large scale custom tattooing, they can drive the customers looking for what you do directly to your door. Now, something else that Tattoo SEO does that I think is invaluable and really sets them apart from any competition is that they can promote you for short periods of time wherever you may be traveling. So if you're like me and you travel to do guest spots or to work at tattoo conventions, they can promote you leading up to the actual event that you're working to ensure that you're actually tattooing at the show rather than twiddling your thumbs and watching everyone else tattoo. I'll give you a real life example. So last year I was offered a booth at a show in Arizona about 3 weeks before the show was actually taking place. So I wanted to go and tattoo, but I hadn't promoted myself for that show leading up. So I had no clients in that part of the country and didn't want to sit around and not tattoo. So I reached out to my buddy Tony Sink at Tattoo SEO and asked if they could help to promote me in the short period of time left leading up to that event. And lo and behold, I was booked solid by the time the event got there. I tattooed all weekend and it was a complete success. So whether you're going to do a week-long guest spot in Southern California, doing a tattoo convention in New York City, they can help to promote you for those periods of time leading up to the events. That is a huge, huge benefit for working with Tattoo SEO. So I definitely recommend that you give these guys a shot by clicking the link below and signing up. You will get 50% off of your first month if you mention that you heard about them on Fireside. Thank you guys for supporting what we do and enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Fireside Tattoo Podcast, the official podcast of the Fireside Tattoo Network. We're here at the Rough Rider Tattoo Expo. Is that what they call it, the Tattoo Expo?
That's what they say.
Okay, the Rough Rider Tattoo Expo. I'm Jake, Ryan, Cory, and we're going to talk about tattoos. But we don't know what yet. We actually didn't plan this at all.
Not at all.
No script.
Tattoos are fun.
Yeah, this one's that we're flying by the seat of our pants. So I've looked at, say what? Go up on your mic. All right. All right. You want to give it should we do a harmony? Huh?
Good?
Sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're good. We should have done all this before we clapped in.
Oh.
Well, that's too bad.
Now we got to clap again. Perfect. The old school clap.
Yeah.
Let's do it again. No, I don't think we need to do it all again. We've already.
That's fine.
So you guys are out of Sioux Falls, is that
Yep.
right? And it's just the two of you guys at your shop.
Yep. So it's me and my wife that own it.
Mhm.
And then she used to tattoo, but she doesn't anymore. And then so then we hired Ryan, and it's been awesome.
Huh. Where were you before that?
I was over at a shop called Lucky Devil Tattoo in Sioux Falls.
Okay.
Pretty much never left the town.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
So was it a bigger shop, I guess?
It was a kind of a street shop, so it was like 5 or 6 dudes.
Yeah.
And then eventually that kind of whittled down and some stuff happened, so it's not Lucky Devil anymore, but that's okay.
Isn't that a common story in the tattoo world?
Yeah, pretty much.
And we were talking a little bit the other day. You guys aren't really trying to grow the shop. You enjoy it just being the two of you?
Yeah.
Do your wife tattoos, or she just
She
she's
used
shopping?
to, but not anymore. So
Oh, okay.
so it's just us.
Yeah.
And
are
we'll take guest artists coming through.
Yeah.
So you do have
Yeah.
extra space.
Like, we like growing the shop in the sense of expanding what we do and, where we go and all the things that we actually do. But as far as, like, adding more people, it kind of gets clustered.
Yeah.
And it
No.
gets really tough because the moment you get more than like 2 or 3 artists in a place, pretty soon you start getting a lot of personalities that run into each other, and then it's just easier to kind of focus on art and stay comfortable with just smaller group of people.
Right. What kind of town is Sioux Falls? How big is it, and what's the tattoo culture like?
So I think it's about 220,000 right now.
Yeah.
And it's really good with tattoos.
Really? It's a big tattoo town?
Yep. So like right now I'm booked out through December and into January. And I'll close my books. So I was getting booked out for about a year before.
Yeah.
And Yeah, there's, what was it, 14 shops right now?
Yeah, about
14,
that.
15?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's over 40 licensed artists, and everyone's pretty
Everyone
busy.
Stays pretty busy.
Yeah.
Is it fairly high quality across the board, or is it up and down? As far as
It's fairly high quality. I mean, there's people definitely know the shops to go to, like
yeah.
everywhere, you know. But
Right. I don't know why. I guess I always think of like towns like it gets hot here in the summer. I guess I always think of like northern towns. No one ever shows skin, so I don't think about people getting tattooed all that much.
yeah.
But I guess in the summer it gets pretty warm. People are showing skin all summer long.
Oh yeah, dude, it gets super hot in the summertime. So yeah,
It's bizarre. I never realized
It's
that.
even nicer because they're covering it up all the time, so they stay
Yeah.
fresh. They stay
they don't sunburn the shit
beautiful.
out of it. You know, it's
Yeah.
nice.
yeah. So we were talking. We were doing the Find Your Style. You guys sat in on my Find Your Style seminar the other day, and that's something we've been talking a lot about. I mean, for as long as this podcast has been going on, we've been talking about people getting into tattooing and trying to identify with some grab an identity within tattooing so that they can move forward and book themselves and say, oh yeah, I'm so and so and I do this kind of work. So what have you guys done? Do you feel like there's a hiss no, you're not even listening. I feel like I hear
There's a
something.
little bit. There's
There's like a hiss or something that's going. Listen and see. Sorry to interrupt myself. I just don't want to do a bunch of. Oh, it just quit. Did it just quit for you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet.
I don't know what caused that.
Magic. Or ghosts.
It was like squealing and hissing. Keep listening and see what you get out of that. Sorry, listeners. I'm just we've done so many technically shitty episodes that I try to grab it whenever it first starts to happen, so we don't talk for 45 minutes and realize
Makes
we have to
sense.
scrap it.
Jump into your seminar. That was a great seminar, by the way.
Thank you,
were
man. I appreciate
extremely
it.
prepared, went through everything, and really enjoyed it. It's
Thanks.
definitely one of the better ones I've been to in a long time.
Man,
so.
I really appreciate that. Thank
Yeah.
you. So what do you guys, looking through your work, like you do a lot of kind of black and gray realism, but you're playing around with some color work as well, but it's still fairly realistic. So is that kind of is that something you were always
That's something I
drawn to?
definitely push for. Like when I first started doing stuff, I was kind of comic book inspired, so I'd go try to go new school or neo tri, but it never really worked out.
Yeah.
Like for me personally, so I kind of went to the other thing that I really like doing. Like I used to read a lot of Alex Ross comics back in the day.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
beautiful
man.
illustrations.
I've got just a blue pencil sketchbook of his. Holy crap!
Yeah, it's
so
just
good.
amazing.
Yeah. So was that a lot of comic influence growing up?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yep, that's mainly what I tried to base my work around when I first started tattooing, and then it's kind of moved into, I can do portraits, so I kind of expanded on that,
Yeah.
and then kept going from there.
Yeah. What about you, Cory? What was your kind of background coming in, and what do you push towards?
I did a lot of music growing up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't. I doodled quite a bit, but I didn't really get serious about it, and so I actually came into it not really able to draw very well. I was actually going to school for pre-pharmacy. I was thinking I was going to be a pharmacist and do all that.
How long ago was this?
10 to 12 years ago.
Okay.
Then when I was in school, I was in the Guards as well. So I was deployed, but before that I was going to school, I was doing an apprenticeship. And then when I deployed, I got approved to tattoo overseas while deployed. So I was
What's that process?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I deployed with a brigade, so we had a general with us, sergeant major, and so I think the sergeant major wanted to get tattooed because I started doing it without permission, and then I was caught, but there's no reg saying I couldn't do it.
Oh.
So then they're like, well, you can't do it, and the sergeant major was like, well, I want one.
Yeah.
So then he talked, and we got paperwork together. We had they have their own health department on base, and they would come inspect me every month, set it up, and
Oh.
so it was pretty neat.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was the thing. So you could, there is a formal process to be licensed to tattoo in the military when you're deployed. Are you
Kind of.
Yeah.
It all depends on
Crazy.
who says yes or who says no. Because if my next line would have said no, it would have been shut down immediately. But because somebody higher up, they kind of talked and I didn't get told no, essentially. And so I had enough people saying, go ahead, and if you do it this way or you talk to these people, they can't really say no, as long as it's within reason. And
Right.
then once that happened, I was able to, so I worked 12 hours doing my, on duty, and then in my off time, I was able to kind of be free to do whatever I wanted to in the meantime.
Yeah.
So as long as it didn't interfere with my my duty day, I was fine to do it.
And it just caught your attention enough once you started doing it that you abandoned everything else. It's like, I'm going to go
Yeah,
home and this is what I'm going to do.
I didn't want to. I enjoy chemistry, but I didn't want to do any more chemistry. And when I came back, it just seemed to work out well because I switched my major, picked up some art classes, things like that. Finished, graduated, kept tattooing, and then eventually, I'm here.
Yeah, yeah.
So
did your chemistry degree lend at all to tattooing? Do you look at ink, makeup, or do you bring some knowledge to tattooing that a lot of us don't?
Yeah, because I took microbiology, chemistry, a lot of the sciences, so it was kind of neat to. Because the medium of the skin is so different than any other medium, and a lot of people with painting or watercolor or anything, they use that as their medium, and then they'll use tattooing as kind of a way to generate income. Whereas it's kind of fun because I really enjoy using the medium of tattooing as my main art, and then I'll do other things to prepare better for tattooing. If that makes sense. So, but yeah, it does help because knowing how the medium reacts to the needles, the inks, everything else can help figure out what to do next or how to approach things. Yeah.
We've been working a little bit with S8 recently, and their founder is a biophysicist, a retired biophysicist. And we just did, I don't know if you've seen, we just did an episode recently about the makeup, or what it's called, what's in tattoo ink or something like that.
Yeah.
And I learned so much. That was the first. There should be 4 or 5 more in that series. And it was cool because I just basically got to sit down and ask the guy whatever questions popped in my head. And some of it he was way over my head in his answers, and some of it we were able to make sense out of. So I don't know what actually is usable out of it. I mean, maybe we could put some out and other people would understand it, but I figure if I don't understand it, I probably won't put it out. But I was super interested in it, and I feel like, and I know I've said it a bunch of times before on the show, but the for tattooers by tattooer mindset, and it's so set in stone, I think is the most ridiculous thing ever, because people from all different backgrounds bring so much more knowledge in different areas. Yeah. So back to style. I don't want to get too far off of it. Do you guys intentionally try to do different things from each other since you're the only 2 people in the shop, just to bring more clients in, or you just do what you do?
I don't know. For the most part, I'd say that, personally, I just kind of do what I do. If I see an idea and I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, I'll just go ahead and do it. Yeah. I don't know if we really try to contrast each other's styles so we can have more options.
Do you feel
sometimes it works out that way, but I feel like working together we complement each other.
Yeah. Do you pull a lot? Are you guys, since you're the only 2 working in the shop, you're pretty honest with each other and offer feedback at the end of
we'll critique each other every once in a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But we'll pick each other's part of work and make each other feel like shit for a minute.
What's kind of like is we'll take photos of it and we'll throw it into Photoshop, and then we'll use the dodge, burn, everything else, kind of get, if we would have done this, or if we would have colored it this way, or if we would have shaded it here, cleaned up this. So it's kind of nice to actually get the visual of the critique versus, well, that sucks. It's like, well, what do we do to fix it? I don't know. It sucks.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to get that visual. And
I think, that's such a great way to deal with that too, because it's always, it's either mostly either a drawing error or it's a value error, a contrast error, something like that. And if you can pull some stuff in and drop it to grayscale and well, what if that had been darker, and burn it a little bit?
Exactly.
What if that had been lighter? And then suddenly you can really make some huge, or learn a lot in a real short period of time. That's a super efficient way to do that.
Yeah, and it's super cool because most of the stuff that we do is in layers, unless we're, here, obviously.
Yeah.
But, so for a first pass, a lot of the times I'll throw my shit in my iPad or Photoshop or whatever and grab a, tablet, just go over it and kind of see what the next move's going to be without, doing it permanently first.
Yeah, absolutely. So how are you guys both drawing digitally mostly to prepare tattoos, all digital?
Yeah, 80%.
Yeah. If I do larger pieces, because trying to do realism with large pieces takes forever. So a lot of times I still prefer drawing with paper on that, with a tracing paper, lay it out and layer it. And, but even then, I'll still take digital of that and then clean it up for the final and then put it out. So
how many shows do you got? Do y'all travel together for shows a lot? Because you were at Hell City recently, but you were not, right?
I was.
Oh, you were there too?
Yep.
Okay, all right, sorry. So you guys always, are you doing that more
most
just
of the
recently, or have you been traveling for a while?
So, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I haven't actually traveled at all until late last year. It basically never left town. I've been tattooing since 2010 and had never ever gone anywhere.
Yeah.
So since I moved over to the shop, he actually got me to start going around. I think I've only been to 2 shows without Cory.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you've been traveling to shows longer?
Yep, I've been enjoying it quite a bit because I think so. The first time I ever traveled was to one of those the artist retreats or the Paradise ones way back in the day when they had all the seminars and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was a great first travel experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then after that, try to travel as much as I can. Try to do it once a month, once every other month.
Yep.
And then when he came on, the shop pays for us to go to conventions, so that's extremely convenient, and it's really enjoyable. The hardest thing is trying to figure out which conventions
Not
to
to
hit.
go to?
Yeah.
Which ones not to go to?
Mhm.
Yeah. So you really hit the ground running. Like you went from like I'm going to be a chemistry major to I'm going to be a tattooer to like running to educational events, opening a shop. Like you didn't. It was like pedal to the floor from the start, huh?
Well, so I was working at a shop because I didn't want to open up a shop, but then when that shop closed down, the only other options, like there was no shop in town at that time that could offer me anything more that I couldn't get myself, especially with the traveling, the seminars, education, kind of growth.
Yeah.
And so there's no other option, because if there would have been a shop that was offering anything even closer to get to that next level besides the custom shop, which was not really custom, I would have went there definitely.
Yeah.
And we even thought about moving to a different city to look for that, but then we decided to just stay in Sioux Falls and keep going. So
Yeah. So that's interesting. You felt like from just a growth standpoint that there wasn't much being offered by other shops.
yeah,
Or at least by the shop that you were in.
Yeah.
What about the same
Same.
thing in the shop you were in?
Yeah, we didn't really do anything. When the idea of going to a convention or anything came out, oh, that's stupid. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
That's kind of the attitude with a lot of shops around town. But it's kind of changing over the course of the past couple of years. A lot of people are kind of opening up and going places, so that's nice to see.
Yeah. So what's the next? What are you have other shows this year?
yeah. We got one more in what was it? Is it Walker?
Yeah.
Yep. Then
Where's that?
Walker, Minnesota. It's about 4 hours that way.
yeah, it's north of the Minneapolis,
Okay.
an hour or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, a really small one, but it's really nice to get to see a lot of people, and it's really personal, and it's kind of, I don't know how to word it, just kind of the Wild West.
It's like an intimate show. There's not really a lot of schedule or rules or whatever. There's awesome tattoo contests, and those are super fun. The people are cool. There's like 80 artists,
Okay.
so it's not like super huge, but it's not
around the
tiny.
size of this. This has like 40,
Yeah, it's
40
about-
some
yeah.
odd booths. I think
Yeah.
is what I saw.
Yeah, it's about the size of this. It's kind
Yeah.
of
Say even smaller.
Yeah, a little bit maybe.
Yeah.
Depending, but
So you've done this, and you did Phoenix, which isn't a huge one. Have you done
Mm-hmm.
Columbus, Hell City?
no, not yet.
So
Not
that
yet, no.
one's like 3
Super-
times. It's so big.
That's what we heard.
What are y'all's opinions on? Do you like smaller show? Do you like smaller, larger shows, or do you have an opinion?
I kind of like the smaller shows. Like
Yeah.
we went to Houston too, and Houston was super fun and awesome. But
Yeah.
there was like a sea of people and like
Yeah.
hundreds of there was a lot of booths.
Yeah, yeah,
It was super cool, but it was really hard to like stop and talk to a lot of people because you're always like kind of moving around. But
yeah. I tend to agree. I get to where I like the smaller kind of like boutique-y shows where the same people show up every
Yep.
year. This seems like it may be that style of show. I don't know. How many years have you done this one?
well, this is my first time.
Oh, is
Cory's
it?
done it before though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It was my third time doing it, and there's lots of really good artists, and but it's kind of fun because you get that sense of community. So you want to keep that up, and you want to go hang out with people that you're familiar with, and you see their work growing, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's fun. We didn't do it last year, but then next year we're kind of limited to how many we can do when we're doing it, so we may or may not come to this one, but we're going to try to keep coming back at least every other year, hopefully. So, and it's within driving distance, and that makes
Yeah.
I like flying. It's a lot easier, I think, anymore.
Yeah.
But it's still nice to, it's within driving distance. I'll just go right there, and I can get clients that I know, and
Right.
it's
yeah,
a road
fun.
trip.
Yeah.
It's a road trip.
Those are nice.
And you can bring like your table and your lights and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the thing
That's
that I
super
hate.
nice.
Yeah, I got real lucky that Million supplied everything for me. Like we brought an extra table and extra everything.
Nice.
But that's the thing that I like. That I hate. I enjoy flying because I like to go to different parts of the world. But my inks blew up in my case last time on the way home, and
Yeah.
and then I don't have the lights that I need and all that kind of stuff, and you end up I'm always overweight, so I'm paying an extra like $100
Yeah.
for the same bag that I already paid for. It's
We're
like,
trying to move this from that bag to
yeah,
that bag. And
yeah, with like 100 people behind me in line.
yeah,
like,
dude.
yeah, that's the only thing about flying. So I think next year we're gonna try to do more driving shows, but it seems like you guys have way more driving shows and driving distance up here than I realized.
Yeah.
There's like 7 shows that we could just drive to.
Yeah, that's
Within
awesome.
every couple months. It's
What
like-
would be the biggest one in this area?
Probably Minneapolis.
Yeah,
Minneapolis?
definitely
Yeah.
Minneapolis.
Okay.
They just started doing
Just Council Bluffs,
Council
Omaha.
Bluffs. Yeah, the Villanards down there, but
So Council Bluffs are right next to Omaha. Like they're
Yeah.
Council Bluffs?
Yep.
Council
so
Bluffs.
you've got
Okay.
Omaha, Nebraska, then Council Bluffs separated by a river,
Okay.
Iowa. So it's
Yeah.
so
All right.
that's kind of fun.
How is Omaha? Have you been there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've
That's
got
where Dave
Yep.
Koenig, I think, lives there, doesn't he? Yeah, yeah. He always catches me off. He's been on the show, and anytime I talk to him, I forget that he's from Omaha. And anytime he tells me, I'm like, oh,
It's a weird place
weird
for a big
place to-
tattooer to live.
yeah. What are you doing in Omaha? Same, like I was surprised to see Scotty Munster here. I'm like,
yeah.
how did you end up at this show? And he's like, oh, I live like an hour and a half or 2 hours away. Like,
Yeah.
oh, really? Crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So who does the Milwaukee? You said what did you just say was the biggest one? Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
Yep.
What is that? Who puts that
Villain
show
Arts.
on? Oh, that's Villain Arts.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you know exactly what you're getting into with those
yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
I enjoy them. It's kind of fun to get that, like going to a show and knowing, which vendor is going to be there,
Yeah.
how many people, how they're advertising. So
So you guys have done this enough, and you've kept up with the show that probably the majority of the people, or maybe not the majority, there's a huge chunk of people that haven't started doing conventions yet, but they're really interested in it, and so you've learned to evaluate them. Do you have any criteria? What do you look for if you've never been to one before? Are you looking at like what names are there or how they're promoting the play? What are you thinking about? I know, just threw that
Okay.
at you. I don't know.
So we figure out how many shows we're going to do in a year, and we try to do it once a month because it's nice to take a break every now and then. And
Yeah.
if you've done, I'm sure you've done like conventions where we do one weekend and then go another weekend, and you're just it's hard,
Yeah.
with family and everything else. So we figure out how many we're doing, and then we figure out how far we want to go because it is kind of fun to go someplace exotic or someplace we haven't been before. Like this year, we're going to try to go to or this upcoming year, maybe Thailand or Amsterdam, do some of the international stuff.
Yep.
And so,
And maybe Mayan Mayhem like next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
That'd be
that one
super
looks
fun.
like it's really cool.
Yeah.
and then try to fill in some others with, shows like this where it's, that you still have that sense of camaraderie and just be able to have fun at it.
Community, yeah.
Like genuine curiosity has been like what fueled our decisions for a few of the ones that we did
Yeah.
this year. Like
Yeah.
went to Niagara and that was pretty fun. There's some
Oh.
cool people there. It
Is
wasn't
that
like
on the Canadian side or
that was
American-
on the American side.
American side? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk about the Canadian side.
Oh, gotcha. Have you ever done the Toronto show? A lot of
No.
big folks
I did
go there.
I did the Winnipeg show.
Oh, yeah.
with
How's that?
the one in the wintertime in February with Abby running it.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably one of the best shows I've ever been to.
Really?
She goes above and beyond.
Huh. Who does it?
Abby. At
Abby.
least I think it's Abby. I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure her name's Abby.
Yep.
Yeah.
And because they got one in the summertime and the one in the winter, and went to the winter one. That's
Yeah.
it's within driving distance. Just
Yeah.
a blast to do.
Yeah, yeah. So that'll be awesome. Will this be next year? Will it be your first international show to do?
No,
Yep.
I've done Canada before, so
Oh, I mean
Yeah.
like overseas. Sorry,
Yeah.
not yeah.
Yep.
You'll be yours.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, it's a different world. Like I've never. Well, the only one I've ever done was in Venice. They did the Venetian Gathering that Gabe Ripley and Derb Morrison
yeah.
and Alex
Yeah.
DePasse kind of put together. I think Alex DePasse did the majority of it because he's already over there, but
That makes
it was
sense.
kind of promoted with all three of those guys, and that was really, really cool. I was real nervous about like language barriers and stuff like that, but it wasn't too much of an issue. But I really would love to do that one in so London I think is this weekend. I'd love to do it. And then there's the Evian, the guy that puts on Dats, who puts on the one in Tahoe, does one in France that looks beautiful. You ever seen photos or anything
I
from
haven't
it?
seen photos of that, but I've heard a lot of cool shit about it.
Yeah,
that sounds
it looks
fun.
awesome. It really looks awesome. And I think it's a small show, an invite show, and I don't know if we can get into it, but I would love to.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be sweet.
Yeah. So Dats, if you watch this show, does Dats watch our show?
Just push that you're doing a podcast. Like, hey guys.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, yeah, man, that's awesome. That's something I think that we get more mail about than, or more questions about than anything. People wanting to get into doing conventions, but people are just scared of it if they haven't
Oh,
done
yeah.
it.
Well, it's daunting, dude. Like, my first one, I was like, there's people there. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't think I did very good tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, then you go and you're like, oh, okay, this is just working just with more people. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's crazy how many really good artists I've seen who are intimidated by going to a convention. They're like, I'm not good enough yet, and it's like, well, you're pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Do you feel like there is a gap between your convention work and your work at home, or do you approach it differently? Say not here because you're working on people. You guys are
I guess
both working on stuff that's existing.
It's kind of funny
Yeah.
you say that because going back to like the style, being able to perform just as good at a convention as I do at home, like that's adjusted how I approach things, and even what I do to do it. Even the prep, how I the inks I choose, the color palettes, even the needle sizing, like it's all becoming kind of more condensed and more specified versus trying to do everything. Like I've got to kind of narrow it down to get into a habit, because I can't spend 15 hours designing something that I only have a day to design.
Yeah.
So trying to get that cookie cutter to where I can do it well, do it quickly, know what I'm doing, be confident in it, and still have it look really, really good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of focused me in.
Yeah. Just force you to kind of simplify the problems. Simplify your needle configurations, your palette, your drawing. Like, be clear on your approach. You feel the same way?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like since I've started coming to conventions, it kind of forces me to push myself a little bit more, because I'm working with all these other dudes that are like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
So I've got to, like, kind of, step things up.
Right.
So, like, as far as style goes, I think my style has kind of developed more since I've started doing this, because I'm kind of, you do cool things on the road because, your portfolio has those things in it. At home, people want what they want. And, that's what they want. That's cool. But, I don't know. I just feel like working on the road makes you evolve in a way,
Yeah.
It's really fun to see how ingenious other people are doing things. And you're like,
you
oh,
pick
that's
up
a
little
great
things here
little,
and
bells and whistles to add in there to make it just, to work into the process.
Yeah. I know in my case, and I'm splitting my time podcasting and tattooing while on the road, but I realized that it makes it a lot easier to discover what your weaknesses are. And when I'm out here, I realize that my weakness is just my biggest weakness is just finishing a piece, because I always have the option of that next sitting. Yeah. And so I'll hold back and hold back and hold back, and I won't like punch it up. Whereas like, yesterday I did this kind of painterly flower, and normally I would have like gotten to that point and said, hey, let's spend 2 more hours on it in a month. Yeah. And I would have like punched it and gotten that separation that I wanted. But I was forced to make that decision right there on the spot yesterday. And you realize real quickly, like, oh, I'm not good at this. Like, I really need to like photograph it and go home and, not look at it for a month and then look at it again. Like, I should get better about this. I should be able to make this decision without so much trouble.
Yeah.
I didn't have a point other than that. But
like that girl that I was just tattooing earlier, it took me like 30 minutes to actually decide that tattoo was finished. Like, I kept going back and finding little things to do. She's like one of my regular clients, and she's awesome. Yeah. For like driving out here and everything, she's just awesome. But I don't know. I just couldn't like let her go back home without fully deciding that was done today.
Right. Yeah. Well, it looked awesome, but I understand that, because that was one of those types of tattoos that there's enough going on that you're like, oh, should I punch those little highlights a little further, or can I like, it had a lot of like delicate little like line work and stuff in it too. You're like, oh, can I like, should I double the size of that line, or should I like keep that one thin? Or
it's like, should I like push some more black here to push that forward a little bit more? But I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Don't do too much.
Yeah. We were talking. A lady I was tattooing a little earlier today was showing me one of her favorite tattoos, and it wasn't. It wasn't a very good tattoo, and she knew it, but it had a lot to do with the person who did it and all this kind of stuff. And we were talking about like how critical we are on ourselves a lot of time. Like, you're just talking about, should I push this further or that further? Yeah. And how what a small percentage of importance that stuff actually has to the client when they go home. And they go home with the tattoo, so obviously that's important. Yeah. But they take that experience, and that's equally as important as what they walked away with. And it's so easy to forget that when you're critiquing your drawing, or I should have cooled that off more, I should have made that softer and that hard. You get so caught up in that crap, and it's just like, man, they don't know that.
Yeah,
they don't care.
Know. They don't care. Like, it's to them it's their idea, and it's beautiful because it's on them forever,
Yeah. And I think that they remember, the conversations you had. You guys are in a private studio. I'm sure that it's like, that it's nice and it's kind of, boutique-y or quaint or whatever, and you can like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all set up for autumn decor right now.
And that's, I think people would put so much weight on like what that experience was like. That's one thing that's changed so much in tattooing in the time that I've been in it. Like, there's no metal, like hard metal playing in my shop. There's no like, it's nice. We're watching. I try to gauge who they are, get to know them, and I try to create an environment that they're comfortable in. And so that changes for each person that comes in. Like, we may listen to comedians one day on on Spotify, and then the next day we may be watching a Netflix documentary on like the Planet Earth series or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just, I just kind of gauge what people are into and try to create that. Yeah. And they leave there like the tattoo is just part of it.
Yeah. Like they went to have fun and kind of got a tattoo while they were there.
They kind of, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Jake scraped away for another few hours, and I spent a lot of money, but I still have to go back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, so I know you guys have to. You got another tattoo coming up. Huh?
I do.
What are you working on?
Doing a gem on a finger. So it's just a smaller one after I did the big one today. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. And then it's kind of fun because we're going to do it here, but it's going to probably heal out a little bit. So she's actually going to be meeting in Minneapolis, do another pass on it.
Oh,
so.
okay.
So it works out well.
Yeah, that's
it
awesome.
does.
It's always great when you can get people to come to 2 shows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So if people want to book or get tattooed, what's the best way to reach you guys?
RedArborTattoo.com.
RedArborTattoo.com. All right. And we'll drop Instagram handles and all that stuff. And do you guys use social media very much? Instagram?
Oh,
a little bit?
I'm trying to get better.
Yeah.
Like I just fell into Instagram like a year ago or 2 or whatever, and I'm terrible at it, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, awesome. Well, man, thank you guys so much for taking the time.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys for supporting what we do. Thank you to Rough Rider Tattoo Expo in Fargo, North Dakota. Thanks to Pool Boy Sean. We'll see you guys next time.
Awesome.